Your house is worth whatever it's worth, right? Whoever sells it. Wrong. I'm Charlie. Welcome to Moving Home with Charlie, and thank you for coming.
Charlie Landing grew up in Sussex, is the founder of Best Agent and presenter of Moving Home with Charlie.
If you want to find one of these guys, look out for those compassionate professionals. All estate agents are not the same.
So Charlie, what would be your advice for people interested in buying new builds right now?
Don't overpay. Do buy, but don't overpay. That's why I say disregard the guff. Read into the numbers and look, and it's buried. The bad news is buried in the small print, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Property Press Awards.
They may or may not be telling the truth, but you should form your own view. Get out and view, get out and view, get out and view. You cannot be in a position to make offers and have no offers accepted if you're not viewing. So be out there viewing. Pay attention to the back of the class. If you've not been watching my videos, I did one just a couple of days ago. Disregard the guff, guys. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first live stream from my new home with an internet connection as opposed to mobile broadband. So this is very experimental. I don't know how well it's going to go or how reliable it's going to be or anything. So this is experimental. So forgive me if I have any problems, if anything cuts in or cuts out. But in this evening's live stream and in this video, I'm going to talk about the nightmare scenario of home. Where it started, how it got here, and why it's making a massive nightmare for people trying to move home now. So good evening, everyone who's watching this live. And if you're not watching this live, thank you for watching anyway. And if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, thanks, guys. Don't forget, you can, if you want to watch the video, click. There we go. Already got a connection. Am I back? Already got a connection issue. I really thought it was going to look better than this. Guys, are you there? Can you still hear me? Sorry about this. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Am I back? Am I back, guys? Am I back? Those of you watching on YouTube? I'm back. Okay. I'm just going to press on. I'll do the best I can. I'm sorry about the internet connection if it drops out again. Right. Overvaluing. In a nutshell, the very, very short 60-second version of the overvaluing history about why everything's overvalued and why it's a vicious cycle that gets worse and worse and worse is this. It was started by a company in London I can't name, but the name of the company begins with F and ends in Oxtons, but I can't name them. And this is all stuff I have personal first-hand experience and knowledge of, right? They began a deliberate strategy to tell a seller anything that they wanted to hear about the value of their house in order to get the instruction, then lock them into a sole agency contract and keep them locked in until they dropped the price low enough to sell or just left. It didn't matter to them. I won't talk about now why that was a successful, and to this day is a successful strategy for companies like that, but that's what was started. And in the 90s, I can remember other agents were outraged at how flagrantly this company was doing this to win business. And it worked. Like any new scheme, if you're first in, it works really, really well. After a while, what happens? People start copying it. So in the early 2000s, basically, a lot of other estate agents in London started copying it, not least because a lot of the staff from the company that I can't name, that starts with F and ends in Oxtons, had started moving to other businesses and were now taking on properties in other people's companies in London. And it got worse and worse. And so as more and more companies started doing it, the competition to put the higher valuation on it also increased. So so now in 2000, then we had the house crash in 2008. And then when the market came back, we then had Help to Buy coupled with, first we had very, very low interest rates, didn't we? Very low interest rates, which was an artificial stimulus to the market, which made house prices start to go up faster than they should. Then we had Help to Buy that put 20 to 40% on top of house prices, whether in London or outside London. And so we had this, and that went into through the 20 teens, all the way up to, well, last year, in fact. And so what happened is you had this sort of ever increasing bubble of overvaluing, with agents competing with each other to overvalue, because otherwise they wouldn't win any business and couldn't earn any fees to sell houses. And because if agents were ever honest and didn't overvalue your house, nobody believed them, because you're an idiot that thinks my house is only worth 20% less than these other guys. So I'm not going to give you my business, because especially first-time sellers didn't know any different. And it's got to the point now where it's become such an effective strategy that unless you overvalue, nearly all sellers just won't instruct you as an agent, right? Unless you are an overvaluing agent, sellers won't give you their business. That's the situation that we've arrived at coming into and of course, the worst thing is that during the pandemic, values went up so fast that some of this overvaluing actually looked like it wasn't even overvaluing, because prices were going up so bloody quickly. And the final thing that really was the icing on the cake, the icing on the overvaluing cake, was the way that Rightmove especially has this Rightmove house price index, which isn't actually a house price index, it's an asking price index of initial listed prices, and doesn't factor into account any price reductions or what's on the market, or how long it's been on the market, or anything else. So, excuse me. Again, what this did, it actually almost validates the overvaluing, because agents will go around using Rightmove as evidence of this overvaluing not being overvaluing. And that's led to the nightmare that we have now of people who've been in a estate agency for 15 years who have lived and breathed an overvaluing strategy that has, for people working in the industry, been a successful strategy. Has it been successful for sellers? No. This is why more than half of sellers have to change agent before they can sell, because they don't sell with the first agent. But no one admits that, because you sound stupid and you sound greedy. So that's why overvaluing, that's why they get away with it, because no one ever talks about it publicly. No one complains about it, because people just say, well, you're an idiot to believe that valuation and you were greedy. So that's why no one ever admits to choosing an agent, because of the valuation. But if you are a seller who innocently picks innocently picks 3 estate agents at random and all of them overvalue, well, it's perfectly reasonable to think, well, somewhere in there's got to be the reason. But even if the lowest of the 3 has overvalued your house and you pick the lowest one, you're still going on an overvalue. And that is why out there in the market right now, there's this sense of bewilderment among many agents who cannot understand how fast buyers have retreated, not because they don't want to pay the prices, but because they can't pay the prices because of what's happened to mortgage payments and interest rates. And this is something that I have tried so hard to communicate to people for over a year now. As mortgage interest rates have gone up, the amount people can borrow will reduce. And that will have a mechanical effect of reducing house prices. Now, having said all that, average house prices have not come down as much as I expected them to. But there's one very likely explanation for that, which is that the average hasn't come down because more higher value properties are on the market right now and have been selling in the last year. But I just wanted to do a video to explain to people why the overvaluing exists. Basically, for about 30-something years, it's been a very effective strategy for agents to win business from each other. And if you weren't an overvaluing estate agent, in other words, if you were an honest estate agent, you were just left out. We're in now, where there's a expectation gap. Okay, I mean, the best agent figures at the moment are showing like £55,000 is the median, so that's the smaller, the median difference between the asking price of properties that are not selling and the asking price of properties that are selling. So, am I still with you? Are you still there? How bad is this? Guys, is it bearable? Is it bearable? Or have I been dropping in and out too much? I'm really sorry. Hi to everyone on Instagram that's watching this live as well. Not very many of you, but I'm not surprised it's dropping in and out. Okay. Someone has asked here, what tools do you use to quickly value a property? There aren't any. They don't exist. You cannot quickly value a property. It's impossible to value a property. Everyone is guessing at what the value of a property is. All that can happen is you put it on the market, present it as well as you can. You get competing offers. So you present it well at a compellingly low asking price to get competing bidders. And when you've got competing bidders, you'll find out what the highest price someone is prepared to go to. That is the only way to find out the value of a property. Okay, there are no tools to value properties, and any of the tools that say they do value properties, they're just data traps. They're traps to get you to put your details in so that an agent can then chase you up and try and talk to you about selling a house. Okay, that's what all of them are, including the Zestimate thing on Zoopla. It's just, they're all the same. They are there to get you to put your details in and you become a lead to an estate agent, and it doesn't work. Yeah, so guys, I mean, a lot of you are putting in the comments here that things are getting desperate out there. I know that they're desperate out there. I've had phone calls from agents in the last week that I have never had in 20-something years of working with agents. And agents who've been through bad markets before, going, they've never known an autumn be this dead. So guys, I'm going to stop. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to try to do 3 videos tonight, one after the other, but to separate the topic. So this was a topic of overvaluing, why it's happened. And what's happening now is that the overvaluing bubble is bursting in slow motion and catching out not only lots of sellers who think they've been reasonable and realistic with the price. Honestly, guys, I know that there are so many sellers out there who genuinely thought they were being realistic with their price and have still not had any offers. That is one of the consequences of 30 years of overvaluing. That's now correcting itself. So you could say that this is an overvaluation correction that we're going through, as well as another correction as well. So guys, that's the story of it. It was started by agents to win business. It worked so well that all agents started copying it. Then we had the turbocharging of the financing of property by Help to Buy, low interest rates, and then COVID stimulus turbo boosted it, all of which has stopped. So with all of that stopping and real wages falling, house prices have gone and they're falling right now at the front line. They're falling the fastest rate. I think it will be shown that in living memory, this is going to be the worst house price slide there's ever been. Anyway, that's the first video. I'm going to go on to the next video, which is a bit more detail about the nightmare facing not only buyers, not only agents, but sellers as well. All 3 people. Okay. I'm going to hang up. It's like I'm on the phone to you, isn't it? Feels a bit like it with the live stream, but I'm going to end this video, and within a couple of minutes, I'm going to start another one. So I hope to see you on the next one, guys. And then when I've done all 3, by the way, at the end of the 3rd video, I will take lots of questions, but I want to get these 3 videos smashed out because I had lots to talk about. The next one is the nightmare facing agents, sellers, and buyers alike because of overvaluing. And the one after that is going to be the massive underreporting that's going to cause so many people to lose their homes who otherwise don't need to. I will see you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye. Experimental live stream to test my new internet connection. And talk about overvaluing. Oh, I was still live with you guys. You just heard me dictating to